Hey, g'day again, viewers. Right, we're on the final rub of the primer, and yeah, it's got to be the final rub. I've actually used it all up, and yeah, just looking at this camera, I don't sort of know how much of this is actually going to show up. Anyway, it's coming up, yeah, fairly good, considering how bad this was, how dented up it was, how many different panels it was made out of, how much bog went into it, yeah, etc, etc. It's coming up pretty reasonable, so yeah, reasonably happy with it. Some of the other panels aren't that great. Might even require a bit more putty on some of them yet. And, anyway, I just give you a quick look at my technique. I got 400 on here. Wet 400, I got a bucket of warm water. And it's only warm so that my hands aren't freezing up. This is coming on winter in Tasmania now. I think we're probably around 13 degrees Celsius. Yeah, normally I'd go with softer block than this. I'm using the same. This is a fairly stiff sort of rubber. Reason being is that what I'm finding is it's still not as level as I would like it to be, so I'm still trying to flatten it off that little bit, like as well as smoothing it. I mean, the main aim of this now is to get it smooth, so you got a smooth surface for your paint, so that when you buff it up, you're not rubbing through anywhere. And yeah, I'm finding it's still not like perfectly level, so that's why I've gone with a slightly harder block than I'd normally use. But yeah, the thing with the 400, when you get down to this finer grade of paper, you're only taking off a minute amount at a time, and this is where it levels better than a course of paper, you know, because you've got to rub it a whole lot more. So, and yeah, even if you're going a softer block, yeah, when you get to this stage, you want to go keep going wide. You don't want to just rub small circles because you end up with flats in it. Also, it's sort of a little bit difficult because you've got to hold the paper as well, but you try and sort of put even pressure on it, not just pressure on one side. Yeah. So we've got to get a couple of little spots just in here, so, but yeah, instead of just rubbing this area, rub around it, you know, so that it's kept fairly even. Yeah. It's a bit hard to do circles, big circles where you got these bolts, but yeah, so go along there first and then work it out. The other thing too, paper doesn't last long, especially when you get it from the hardware. So, like this is the fourth piece, so yeah. I've just done the roof with this as well, so I'm just about ready to swap it over and get a new piece. So yeah, get plenty of paper. This is sort of more important than you realise. So not only does it sort of quickly, but the more you point, the more your paper wears out, the more you have to rub it, and the bigger chance there is of creating flats in it again. I'm going up here, along here, tried to sharpen those lines a little bit. Working up towards that point. I've probably created a little bit of a flat line on it. I'm going to create a line there, but I've probably created a bit of a flat there as well. So I'm trying to get that line sharp. So put the curve back into it. You've got a little bit of these sort of holes still. Yeah, sort of trying to stress the importance of not trying to rub sort of one spot too much. You know, even when you get one spot that needs rubbing more than the rest, you still got to rub the area around it. And use plenty of water, keep paper clean. Yeah, change to another bit of paper now anyway. Yeah. So you get a bit of a shine on it, which you probably can't see in the camera. And you can look into that shine while it's wet, and gives you a bit of an idea of how straight you got it. So it actually looks pretty decent. I'm quite content with it. And you see little, well, that's a rub through, but I'm just checking that it's not actually a hole. No, it's a rub through, it's smooth. There's a tiny hole just there. Okay, I'm going to rub that through a bit more. There's a little hole on the other side that I'm going to have to re-putty. A tiny little spot, but it's too deep to try and rub out. So this one's not very deep. Like that. Right. We'll leave that bit for now. I said I probably should have done this while the sun was still shining, or videoed it while the sun was still shining anyway, because I don't know how much of that you could actually see. And yeah, that's the guide coat. You can see it's just a bit of spray can enamel, just glossed over it lightly. I'll show you that. Sometimes, yeah, as I said, you've got to know what you can rub out, what you can't. There's a tiny little spot there. So I'm not going to bother out. I can already sort of start and see the putty shirt. I mean, the paint will fill that. That one I might put a little bit in. There's a hole here somewhere. Yeah. Just see. That's an air bubble. This is the problem too, is that, see, if I keep rubbing that, because I'm now into the putty, and I'm going to end up with a low spot. But the other thing will happen is there's more air bubbles in that putty, so if you start rubbing in the putty, you can end up with new air bubbles, new holes, pinholes. So yeah, I'm going to have to put a little bit of putty in that. Yeah, because there's a couple here that I probably wouldn't bother with, that it fill up with paint, but yeah, because I got to do that and it's right next to it, I'll put a little bit in there too. And, other than that, it's just come up pretty decent. Yeah, that's the main one I was looking for actually. They're still fairly deep. So yeah, put a tiny bit of putty. I'll thin the putty out. The guards should be fairly good. They're not perfectly like a smooth round. There's still a few highs and lows in it, but yeah, it's pretty reasonable. I'm going to get away with it, I think. Yeah, if I was to highly polish it, which I won't be anyway, I'll just give it a light buff. But if you were to highly polish it, it'd show up. But you get away with it just with a normal light buff. These bits over here weren't as ready as I thought they were. And yeah, you're not going to be able to see them on the camera, but yeah, there's lots and lots of pinholes here. When I was primering it, I had to get the little brush out and brush it into all the holes, and yeah. So I expect when I get the rub on that back, there'll be a few more bits that I'll have to refill. Same on the bonnet. Bonnet's still a bit unlevel actually. So I put a lot of primer on that. So yet to see how much of that I can rub out. But yeah. There's still a hole there. Don't know how much of that'll show, but yeah, it's not all straight. Yeah, there's a high spot there, there's a high spot there, a low spot in between the two highs. As I said, I put like 4 coats of primer on this, heavy coats, when I knew it was just used up the last of my primer. And but yeah, we're yet to see how well that comes up and how much more work it needs. You can see more there. Another ridge running around there, high and low, and there. That's because the sun's coming in at an angle. It's showing things up. But anyway, see how we go with that. And, I'm getting really burnt out with it, you know. I'm sort of almost at the point where I don't really care too much how perfect it is, but I don't know. But anyway, we'll see how we go. I'll still try and get it as good as I can, but I'm not that confident that bonnet's going to look that great. But anyway, see how we go. As I said, I'm really overbuilding this. Just want to get it finished now and use it. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and especially if you've kept up with this whole series. It's been a long drawn out one. Didn't really expect it to go on for this long. Yeah. Alright, well, hopefully we'll catch you next time. Bye.